from outside, he would have gone through that process. More so, the extra says a permanent commissioner has spent a minimum of 2 years. 2 years is entitled to this benefit. So the question is, have I spent 2 years as a commissioner or not? And the answer is yes. Now, there's an argument on an opinion expressed by the acting head of legal as at that time, Mrs. Franham. And clearly, in our opinion, she based her views based on the memo from the board, from the board secretary to the board. Because the board extract clearly states the decision of the board. If you are going to analyze an extra, you analyze from where it says the board hereby approves. But more so, and more importantly, the acting head of legal and enforcement at that time, Mr. Eric Elijako, who was her boss at the office, and also her senior professionally, disagree with her recommendation and recommended for the payment of the severance package. The Commissioner of Corporate Services, who is also senior to her in legal profession and also in the office, approved the payment. Additionally, a committee was set up comprising the substantive head of legal, the board secretary, the head of human resource, head of finance and account, and they all look at it and say, yes, that payment was right, I was entitled to it. So the question is, why mischief makers are only relying on the opinion expressed by the acting head of legal as at that time, when everybody in the system, from her boss, from the commissioner, from the committee, all disagreed.
Sorry.
Yes.
Why will he be acting if the boss, his or her boss was there?
Sorry?
Why will you have an acting if the person has a boss?
No. The head of legal at that time was not around.
So she was acting at that particular time. So she was the head at that particular time.
Sorry?
She was the head at that particular time. Yeah. Did our boss return and make a different opinion before you were paid? The acting head of legal advised otherwise. Her boss said you can go ahead. But as at the time the acting gave that opinion that you cannot be paid, did you get paid then or until the head returned?
Very good question.
Yeah.
I was not paid until when the commissioner approved. Because all she did was she just did a memo to her boss, who was the acting head of legal and enforcement. And her boss now disagreed with her and recommended the payment to the board, to the head of corporate services, to the commissioner of corporate services, who also approved for payment.
Okay, go ahead.
So you can see clearly, in my opinion, that nothing went wrong in terms of my payment. Some people are saying that that payment ought to go to the Honorable Minister for approval, and I find it very funny. If the minister is acting as a board, the responsibility of the board is to come up with policy. And the board has come up with a policy with respect to the payment of severance package. So why should it go to the minister for approval again? Number two, why is it that all the severance packages that were paid to about 10 commissioners and DGs in the past, it never went to the board for approval? Why is it that all the benefits that staff get, either in terms of salary, allowance, or it never went to the board? The board responsibility is to come up with a policy, and it is the responsibility of the management to implement in line with that board approval. The second issue has to do with my directorship of Medusa Investment Limited. I had provided a letter that I wrote to the company secretary of Medusa, dated 19th of December 2012, in which clearly I tendered my resignation letter when I heard about my announcement. For whatever reason, it was on file. But Section 292 subsection 4 and 5 of KAMA did not put responsibility on the person leaving. It clearly placed responsibility on the company to ensure that the necessary documentations are met. Number 2, Medusa has never had any business with SEC. The letter of suspension issued to me by the Honorable Minister alleged that Medusa was doing business in SEC. Medusa has never done any business in SEC. 2, Medusa has never done any business with any company that does business with SEC. 3, the company is not a capital market operator. The company is not a listed company. And the company has never done any business with any capital market operator or any company. The question, therefore, is where does the conflict of interest arise? I do not deny the fact that I'm a signatory to Medusa. I do not deny the fact that, yes, I participate in the business that the company is doing, but I strongly deny the fact that Medusa has done any business in SEC. And given that position, I do not see how it amounts to conflict of interest. Sorry? No, that is not part of the suspension. I'm limiting to the 3 issues. Yes. Yes, at a particular time when the company secretary was not able to, did not file it, we were confronted with an urgency in terms of getting an ATM. And erroneously, because he has not filed it and we needed it, there was a board resolution and I signed. And I stated in my submission that it's regrettable. And I considered that, yes, that was an error, and I said, and I regret doing that. Apart from that, there is nothing that brings conflict between myself and Medusa. The 3rd company is Outbound. Outbound is a company owned by my brother-in-laws. Again, I resigned from the board of Outbound. There's no record, and I challenge anybody to bring any record that will show that I have any business or financial relationship with Outbound. I have not signed any document. There's no document I have ever signed on behalf of Outbound.
Was your letter of resignation filed?
Like I said, the same thing, Outbound, for whatever reason, because it's a family company, the company secretary didn't go to file it at that time. But like I said, the law did not place that responsibility on me. So when I resigned, I gave him the letter. But I made sure that I do not have any business relationship with that company whatsoever. Yes, Outbound within that period did a business with SEC. The promoters of Outbound are Nigerians like any other Nigerian. There's no law in Nigeria that says you have to come from a particular place for you to come and do business in SEC. The question is, have they followed the due process laid down by SEC in giving contract? Yes. 2, have they supplied the items they were given to supply? Yes. Were they given a price higher than what others were given? No. So how does it amount to conflict of interest on my own part? They are Nigerians like any other Nigerians. They are entitled to do business, and there's no way that I have intervened or interfered with the procurement process. The procedure in SEC is if services are needed, the department will write a request for authorization. Once I give authorization, they go and look for bids, and they will submit the bids lowest, medium, and high. I have never approved any service or any contract that is higher than what another person has bidded for. Importantly, I delegated my responsibility to the Minors Tenders Board. The Public Procurement Act allows me to approve contracts relating to services up to 2.5 million naira and works 5 million naira. But I delegated that responsibility to the Minor Tenders Board. The only contract I approve are those that are related to services that I needed within 48 or 72 hours. Other than that, I leave everything to the Minor Tenders Board. So how does it amount to conflict of interest?
3 minutes. 3
Some of the pertinent questions that I have is, number 1, why did the minister refuse to take interest in the petition filed with the ministry since January 2017? This petition we're talking about, was filed since January 2017. We went to EFCC, we went to ICC.